How twisted is Homelander, really? He actually demanded that the caregiver in front of him urinate in front of everyone. If the caregiver agreed, he would spare his life. To save his life, the caregiver dropped his dignity, but due to nerves, he couldn't urinate. The caregiver tried to explain, but in the next second, Homelander killed him without hesitation. It turns out that Homelander returned here because this was the place where he was born. It was here that he had been cruelly tortured, leaving him with deep psychological scars. He remembered how one of the staff members had thrown him into an oven for experiments, just to test his physical endurance. Every time the temperature went up a level, the staff would happily play little games to celebrate. Faced with Homelander's threat, the staff had no choice but to step into the oven immediately.
Get in the oven or your family goes in with you.
Homelander coldly slammed the iron door shut and turned on the oven. Soon, the staff member was burned to ashes. Just as Homelander was slipping into madness, a voice suddenly interrupted his rage. This voice came from the director here, the only person who could make Homelander feel fear. They then walked together into a secret room, the very room where Homelander had been born, and where he endured cruel experiments in psychological control. The director understood that Homelander was here solely for revenge. However, the director didn't show any fear. Instead, he pointed out Homelander's flaws.
Because you couldn't stand the idea that we would be disappointed in you. Your need for approval and for love?
He believed that deep down, Homelander had a strong need for love, and he could never escape the constraints of that part of his humanity. But now, unexpectedly, the former Homelander was gone. He had come here only to abandon the last shred of his humanity. Sure enough, soon after, the lab turned into a sea of blood. At that moment, he became the true demon. Meanwhile, Starlight had found her way to the upper echelons of the human government. Since the announcement of the president's superhuman limitation bill, it had been fiercely rejected by various factions, led by Vought. Some news outlets even accused the government of engaging in racial discrimination. This caused a huge headache for the government. Starlight then proposed a collaboration, offering to mobilize public sentiment to help pass the bill. In return, the government promised to keep their word and permanently eliminate Vought once and for all. As expected, they reached an agreement. Starlight returned to Starlight House, but barely had a few minutes to celebrate before Colin delivered some bad news. Vought had set up a stage right across from them. They were going to publicly smear Starlight in a live broadcast, exposing all her dirty secrets. They also used software algorithms to recommend the content to the users most likely to accept it. The ultimate goal was to stir up hatred against Starlight among over 100 million clueless online users.